What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm joined with
Gersh1
to answer your questions in another episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get those questions first. That is what Ben Smith did. He asks, "Are the Men of Iron still a threat?" Good question.
I want to say yes and no.
Yeah, they're not a threat in this. Well, so if you don't know who the Men of Iron is, we're gonna do a quick little synopsis. But check out our 40 facts on the Men of Iron. I worked hard on that video, so check it out. But basically, the Men of Iron are AI that the humanity before the Emperor created. Well, before the Emperor came out of the closet.
Before his reveal, like Lil Nas X.
Oh yeah. But anyways, and then the AI ended up rebelling. They fought humanity. They were corrupted by chaos. So those machines still exist out in the universe. The most famous one right now is the Black Fortress.
His name's like what, like AR-115, something like that.
Yeah, we also have a 40 facts video on him. So if you want to check that out, look that up. But he's a threat. He can hurt the Imperium, but is there a huge galactic spanning empire of the Men of Iron? No. All you're gonna have is like small little incursions, and sometimes Chaos Forces or Renegade Forces are gonna use Men of Iron to attack. They're called, what are they called? Do you know what they're called? Like the AI.
Yeah.
I'll remember the name. We did a 40 facts video on them too.
Yeah.
There's a couple of those. Is it Cabanda machines? No.
I want to say it starts with an M.
Yeah, but there are these machines that basically are the Men of Iron, and they're being used by Chaos. They're most famously used during the Martian conquest, when basically Mars turned traitor during the Four Horus Heresy. Dang, I forget what they're called. Are you sure they're not Cabanda machines?
I thought it would start with like an M, like Melif. I don't know.
But yeah, I hope that answers the question, and I hope you guys don't have more questions, because now we introduce something that you didn't ask. Next question.
This one is by Praxis980. What is it like to enter the warp using a warp rift? Is it like the Eye of Terror? Would you see a void of swirling energies? Or would you just fall into a planet?
It's just like a whirlpool of purplish ooze. We use this image a lot, but there's an image in one of the... It's not Dawn of War, it's the Battlefleet Gothic trailers. So it's just like a huge spinning like vortex, and then the ship goes through it. And then while you're in the actual warp, what you're seeing, if you're looking out past the Geller field, is just like primordial plasma and like different shapes and stuff. And it's mind-bending, and you shouldn't actually look at it because it's dangerous.
Yeah, you'll go crazy.
It's like staring into the sun. Don't do it for too long. Unless you... I've stared into fires for a while, and that nothing happened to me.
Yet.
But yeah. Next question.
This one is by Giovanni Aldea. Are the gods of the warp capable of comprehending a being that does not register in the warp? If so, how will the Chaos Gods react to the Tyranids when they arrive in force into the warp?
Who?
Chaos Gods. So like Zeech, Snurgle, Slanesh, Korn. They can still see beings that don't register in the warp. They just don't register in the warp. Which is why, like you said, like Tyranids, there's a whole Tyranid hive fleet that's used to fighting demons and stuff like that. So it's not like they're completely blind to it. They still see.
Yep. They've had demon worlds that get attacked by the Tyranids. So when that happens, that's how they know what's going on and stuff. Yeah. Next question. You have one? I'm still trying to look up the name of that thing.
Okay.
I have one from Alex. Alex, I'll go back. Okay, so I have 3 questions. Do the Chaos Gods have physical forms, and if so, what are they like? Yeah, kinda.
In a way, every demon, lesser demon, greater demon, any demon that pledges to a god is essentially that god's power manifested.
Yeah, so that's their manifestation within real space. Inside the warp, it is rumored that like Khorne is just a giant demon with a giant sword sitting on a throne of skulls. Nurgle, we'll come back to Nurgle. Tzeentch is just like this creature with a bunch of mouths, and it's corporeal, I think it's called. Slaanesh is...
Neither... Well, Slaanesh has both female parts and male parts, but it's always like shifting. It's androgynous and androgynous at the same time.
And then finally Nurgle.
I want to say, well, I think those are just greater demons, right? They're just like the ones stirring the pot.
Yeah. I can't really remember what Nurgle looks like. And it's funny because I've been doing a lot of Nurgle videos.
Because I feel like all those Nurgle things are just greater demons of Nurgle.
Yeah, I do know that he's jolly and he's happy and he's like... Yeah. So...
Kind of like the beasts of Nurgle. So they're like puppies.
Yep, they are. They lick you and whatnot. And then his second question is, do you think GW will ever bring the Emperor back? And if so, how? And finally... Oh, okay. So, will the Emperor come back? Maybe in the very, very far future, but we have been wrong. You guys used to ask us, will Primarchs ever come back? And we're like, no, it's just part of the lore, it's the history, they're not going to come back. And then boom. Guilliman comes back.
Yeah, Magnus.
So we might be wrong. I would assume that GW would want to make more money and like put out a Primarch every so often and not bring out the Emperor. The Emperor would be like that last card you play when GW is failing because they rose their prices too high.
Which is actually happening, yeah.
I think it's the 8th. The 8th prices go up for GW again. But yeah, will he come back maybe eventually? Yeah. And then his final question is, how strong was the Emperor at his peak? I don't think he was as strong as a Chaos God. He was definitely stronger than a Catan because he defeated the Catan.
The Void Dragon. But yeah, he was like... we know how strong Primarchs were during the Horus Heresy. So he was like levels above that. And he was the strongest Psyker in the known universe. So that should tell you that he's a heavy hitter.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. He's a tough cookie.
The next question is by DeFool06. Do you guys think that GW went way too far with the concept of the Demon Kulaba? Or is there something far more worse and disgusting than this idea?
I don't think there's anything more disgusting than having a female, a woman, opened up, putting in a fetus, a Space Marine fetus inside of her, stitching her back up, and on some occasions having to get two women, stitching them together so that they can have a big womb, and putting this like fetus, this Chaos Space Marine fetus inside of her. It's pretty disgusting. I don't think I've come across anything else. Yeah. And I don't think it was like GW. Well, it was GW, but it was like one of those like stories that like it gets passed off to an author, and then the author uses the
creative freedoms to
create it.
Yeah. Which is pretty messed up. Like to even think of like that concept is like whoa. But I mean that's chaos. That just goes to show you how crazy chaos would go to just come out on top.
And based on how GW is kind of like pushing the whole world or the universe, that I think is going to be the last time anything that crazy ever comes out from them. I think they're trying to steer more towards like the Star Wars kind of like science fantasy, but like not gruesome horror fantasy.
Yeah, grim dark, but not grim pitch black.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't come across anything. I think the only thing that comes close to that would be like the whole gene stealer cults and how they like impregnate people and then their offsprings look closer and it's like a generational thing.
Yeah. I actually just found a really cool guy on Instagram who's doing a like revolutionary style Gene Stealer cult army, and he actually like put a bunch of like posters up on his Instagram page, and he has like he created a symbol of like the Soviet Union.
The hammer and
the
sickle.
hammer and sickle, but instead of the sickle, it's like a Gene Stealer
the
thing or whatever.
Yeah.
It looks really cool, and he's putting in a lot of time. You should check it out on Instagram. I don't have his name though. That's another thing I have to look up. But before we get to that, I did find the Men of Iron thing that I was talking about. It's called the Silica Animus.
Ah.
So check out our 40 facts on the Silica Animus. That also explains the dangers of the Men of Iron in today's time.
And speaking of Silica Animus, Juan G has a question. Why do abuelas sneeze so loud?
Abuelas are
grandmas.
Grandmas. My grandma passed away before I can form consciousness. No. I mean, does your grandma sneeze loud?
From what I can remember, I've only heard her sneeze a few times, but I remember those times. So yeah, I think they're sneezing because they have so much knowledge and wisdom taking up their mental capacity that it just forces it, like, the sneeze out harder to make more room for that wisdom.
And you know how, another thing too, you know how older people tend to be very superstitious? There is a superstition, probably based on some fact, that if you hold back a sneeze, you could die. I know that if you hold back a sneeze, you could burst a blood vessel in your eye and stuff like that. I don't know if you would die, though. So I think older superstitious people kind of are scared to die because they're like almost there, and they think that if they hold back a sneeze, or if they're not loud in their sneeze, they might die.
Right, so they sneeze with all their might to give them life essence.
Yes.
Speaking of loud sneezes, I was in the bathroom at work the other day, and this guy was taking a leak, and I swear, he had the loudest farts I've ever heard on any human being. I was like a good 10 feet away from him. Like, I was in the stall, all the way on the wall, and he was in the urinals, which was like all the way over there. And this guy farted so loud, I literally thought like something was broken. Like, oh, like the wall cracked, or like somebody's doing construction. No, this dude farted.
Was it louder than the thunder that we heard last week?
Well, the thunder.
Those were like seismic. Like,
yeah. It was close to that. Like, I had a buddy that we were having a sleepover, and we were downstairs, and my parents were sleeping upstairs. My buddy farted, and my parents came from upstairs downstairs asking us what broke. This would have been like, my parents came downstairs and would have been like, there's an earthquake, we need to get out. Yeah.
Or comment down below, how loud is your fart?
Or sneeze.
And are farts pleasing to Slanesh or Nurgle? Because it's like pleasure when you release.
Is it though?
Yeah.
And this dude must have been like,
oh. I don't think you feel pain when you fart. If you do, see a doctor. This question comes from MKK Rommel, or Mick Rommel, sorry. Would you rather be a Grey Knight or an Inquisitor?
Grey Knight, hands down.
Oh, Inquisitor. Why?
A Grey Knight is a one-man army. Yeah. You have been chosen, you've been blessed, and you're going to be fighting for the Emperor. Like, besides the Custodes, like, they are the next best thing that Space Marines have to offer.
They're extremely tough, but I can't get over the fact that the horrible reality of any Space Marine is that you get brainwashed.
Well, yeah, but they're being brainwashed to believe, like, we're the holy warriors of the Emperor. You are the scum of the earth. Or, like, you are the worst thing to be in existence, so we gotta kill you.
But in essence, you die. Check out our horrible realities on a Space Marine. After you watch that, or even check out our 40 facts on the recruitment process of a Space Marine, you're not gonna, like, the Space Marine that comes out after the whole process is not the boy that went in. Like, it's,
right.
It's not even like it's almost like they're just using the body and getting rid of everything that is you, and then turning you into a Grey Knight or a Space Marine. Those Warhounds. Those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. We have a Patreon. Don't forget we have a giveaway going on right now. Check out videos. And yeah.
Yeah. As always, I'm the Sound Alchemist.
First one.
And we are out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.